to Danny and Charlie. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Right, I'm going to share my screen first of all. Danny, can you see that?
Yeah, that's looking good, Charlie. Thank you.
It's really lovely to have you all here with us today. We'll start with a bit of an introduction. So I'm Charlie. I'm one of the education consultants from J2Journal. My background was in teaching sort of 5 years ago before I had my children, and I now work for J2Journal. So hopefully I'll be able to explain everything kind of coming from the same sort of place as you all are. And we have Danny, the managing director, with us today, who I will hand you over to shortly. So today's session is going to be looking at, can you hear me?
Yep, it's all good, Charlie.
Today's session is going to be looking at the new J2Journal tool. Before I dive into that, we're just going to give you a bit of a brief introduction to J2Journal for anybody who isn't familiar with the tools, just so you can see where Journal sits within the tool suite and everything else that you have available to you. So we'll look at how you access the tools, we'll have that very brief overview, and then we will go through J2Journal in detail. So we'll look at how you can create a class journal, how you can add content and organise that content within the journal. We'll look at connecting parents and adding comments, and then authorising, moderating those comments. And we will have plenty of time available for any questions or comments that you have at the end. We will welcome anything at that point. Obviously, as I'm going through, if you have any questions or you want me to slow down and go over anything again, just pop that in the chat and let us know, and we can go over anything again as we go as well. So I'm going to start by handing over to Danny, who is going to talk to you all about how you access the tools in the first place. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Hopefully now my screen is sharing.
Looks like
Are you seeing my J2 launch? I
am.
Great. So yes, I'm going to be very brief. You'll be pleased to know. But I just wanted to, because we've got quite a crowd today, and I just wanted to be sure that everyone knew how you get started. It might be that I'm teaching my grandmother to suck eggs, but the place that you get started, you've got two choices. One is to go through Glow, and you will have a tile there that says J2, I think it'll say J2Journal tools or something similar, and you'll click on that, and that will take you to a launchpad that looks something like this. The alternative to that is if you want to start at J2E, you can go to j2e.com, and if you click on this RM Unify link, then that will take you through your Glow login. I've already logged in with Glow here, and that will log you in directly. So you can either go from Glow directly, or you can go from J2E and go in that way. Once you've done that, and this is the main reason that I wanted a quick chat before Charlie starts, is because once you've done that, there is an alternative for getting your pupils logged in, because we know from working with all around the UK, particularly Northern Ireland and Wales, where we do a lot of work, that particularly the younger children struggle with their long passwords and usernames. So once you as a teacher have logged in via Glow, if you go to the J2 dashboard and click on the classes there, you should see all of your classes should be pulled in automatically from Glow. And if you just click this QR code button up here, hopefully you can see it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th button along there, grey button. You click on that, and you can then select your class, and from there you can generate QR codes. Those can easily be formatted. If you click on the print button, it automatically formats it for you nicely, so that you can just print those off, cut them out, and the children can use those to log in with a QR code. So that will work on any device with a camera, typically iPads or Chromebooks, or any device that's got a camera. You can just flash the QR code in front of it, and that will get you logged in immediately. Okay, that's it from me. I just wanted to make that clear. So that's how you get started. I'll hand back to Charlie. Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, can you see again? All good, Danny?
Yeah, all good, Charlie.
Thank you. Right, okay, so once you're logged in, you have access, you'll be taken to the launch pad. This is kind of the landing page, and it's where you have all of the different tools that you have available to you. So just to give you a very brief rundown of the tools that you have at your fingertips, they kind of split roughly into tools that are creative tools for children to use, and then there are a set of tools that are more useful for you as a teacher. There is overlap, but that's how I kind of like to split them and think about them. So for your children, the two main creative tools we have are JIT, which is our infant toolkit, and J2E5. So JIT is a set of tools for those really little ones. There's a writing tool, a paint tool, there's a beginnings of coding tool, there are some data handling tools, an animation tool, and they're all really for your younger children to be able to get straight on with creating things. And then for your slightly older children, we have J2E5, which is our kind of content creation. It's like a blank piece of paper, and children can create posters and presentations. You can do little animations in there. You can take content created in JIT and pop it in there. Possibilities are endless with that one, really. You've then got a set of coding tools in J2 Code. I mentioned just some data handling tools. There's some data handling tools for older children as well in J2 Data. Blast is our games-based learning. So there's a spelling and a times table, little competitive games in there, and they can go live and play against other people. And then on the teacher side of things, we have a messaging tool, we have a tool for setting homework for children, a stars tool for generating little rewards for recognising the positive things that children have done in your classroom. We have one of our newer tools is the library, which is this pink tile at the top here, and it's full of resources that you can share with your children that are ready to go for them to use. You can link that with the homework tool and set those resources to your children for homework with just the click of a button. So it should all be really, it's all been designed to try and make life for you easier. But what's lovely about the library is the resources in there. They've all been made by teachers. We hope that we're trying to meet the things that you're looking for and provide resources that you will really find useful and that your children will really enjoy and be inspired by. So there's lots and lots in there too. So that is a very, very brief overview of what you have available within the Just Too Easy tool suite before we come on to J2Journal. And what I will say at this point is if you're interested in learning more about the tool suite as a whole, we do have a training session that we've just scheduled in for next week. So it's the 5th of June. And if you're interested in that, it's a beginner session and it will go through in a lot more detail the things that Danny and I have just gone over, talking about how the tool suite works, showing you some ideas for getting started with each of those tools that we've just looked at. If you're interested in that, if you go to just2easy.com and click on the events tab here, it's this session here. I mean, you're welcome to any of these sessions, of course, but this beginner session would be a really nice place to start if you are not familiar with the tools. And it will be about sort of 45 minutes to an hour, sort of just going over getting started for people who haven't used the tool suite before. So on to the reason you are all here today, and that is our newest tool, J2Journal. So J2Journal fits within those kind of tools that are designed to really help teachers, and it fits within the parent portal. So the platform that we have that allows teachers and parents to kind of connect and to work together to support the children. So the journal tab on my Launchpad is this blue and green one. If I start by giving you a quick overview, so when you go into journal, you will see all of the journals for your whole school. So in this particular school, we've got quite a few set up. If I click into this P1 class, this is my class's journal. So it's an ability to build a portfolio, excuse me, for your class that shows that will contain work created by different children in your class. So if I scroll down, I can see I've got the different pieces of work. I can see which children were involved in that piece of work, and I can see that I uploaded it here. I can add photographs. I can add files that have come from the child's files, or I can add things that have come from my files here. I can add comments, so captions to those. Parents can also comment. I will show you that in a little while. So that's a journal that has already had some added in. So I'm going to go through and show you how I would go about setting up a new journal. So if I come back out of that, and as a reminder, so we're going from the Launchpad into J2Journal. So if I want to set up a new journal for a new class, I'm going to go to this big blue New Journal plus button here. And I'm going to select a class that I want to create a journal for. So these are the classes that are in my Just2Easy. So the children that I'm looking for will be sorted into those classes. So if I want to create a new journal for class 1, I will click on class 1. The name will auto-generate to copy the class, but I can change that if I want to. I'm going to leave it as class 1, and I'm going to create. So there's my new journal for class 1. That will now appear on this page here. Oh, I did a test one earlier, so it's there. I've got a class 1 journal with all my other journals. I'm going to go back into the P1 journal now, just because it's got a little bit more in there when I'm showing you how this works. So the next thing I'm going to want to do when I'm making a journal is start to add some work and some examples into that journal. So to do that, I've gone into the journal, so I'm going into P1, and I'm going to click on this new plus button here. This is how I'm going to add new content into the journal. So I start by adding a file. You can see I've got lots of different options. I can take a photo or a video, add a link. I suspect the two main ones you might use would be things that have been saved to your My Files. That's the area of your content within Just2Easy. Anything you've created or uploaded will be in your My Files. Or pupils files is anything that your pupils have uploaded or created. So if I click into there, I can see all of the pupils who are in class 1, in P1, sorry. So I'm going to click on Rosie, and I can see everything that she's created in here. So if I click on this activity that she's done here and click OK, so she's been painting a character from her book. So there's that file. I could add a few at a time if I wanted to, but I'll just go for one for now. And then I'm going to click Next. Next, I'm going to show to tag that piece of work against any pupils who were involved. So we know that that's Rosie's work, but I might tag, for instance, Ezra to show that he worked on that with her. And then I'm going to click Next. It's then going to ask me if I want to put that piece of work into a folder, and this is my opportunity to add new folders to my journal as well if I want to. So I've got a phonics folder already. I might, let's call this Reading. And we'll give that a colour. I'll create that folder, and I'll just tick next to that now to show that I want that piece of work to go into that new Reading folder that I've just created. So I did the Add folder, and now I've ticked next to it to show that's where I want the piece of work to go. And I'm now going to click the purple Add Item button. And there now in my journal, above the pieces of work that were already there, at the top is that new picture. I think that's Peter Rabbit that she's drawn. and I can see that Rosie did it and also Ezra did it too. Now, that means that if I've got Rosie and Ezra's parents or carers connected to the journal, their parents or carers would get a push notification and an email at this point to say that I've uploaded some work into the journal for their child. Before I rattle on, does anybody have any questions up to this point that I can answer, or anything else that you'd like me to go back over again before I carry on?
No, it all seems pretty straightforward, I would say. It looks, yeah.
Brilliant.
Can I just ask one question? So if Rosie's parents log on,
yeah,
and they wouldn't see Rosie and Ezra's name, they would just see Rosie's name above that picture.
Danny, can you answer that question for me?
I can. I will answer it in a moment when I've had a look.
I tell you what, well, actually, I'm going to show my phone in a minute, so we'll be able to see that in a second. They will certainly only see work that Rosie has been involved in. So they won't see, for instance, this piece of work that Harley created, assuming she didn't do that. No, she didn't. I think
the answer to that question, if we just it'd be quite interesting to get some feedback. I've just checked, and the answer is that if the teacher has said, well, this work is shared with Ben and Peter and Jane, then the parents can see that those pupils that it's been shared with. And I would be interested to know if Seesaw doesn't do that, and that's a problem, then I'd be very interested to know that information. I don't know if anyone is able to give me that information offhand.
I don't know. That would be my question around just was the GDPR and.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. I guess that's one I'll pick up with Julia and with Jim and with Harriet and just check what's required there. My understanding was that Seesaw does that, and it is allowed under GDPR, but we'll certainly check that, because obviously we have to make sure that we stick strictly within GDPR guidelines. So we'll check that one out and make sure that if we're not conforming today, we'll be conforming within the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I
Go on, sorry.
Someone's just put that you can see others tagged on Seesaw. Thank you. Yeah, that's really helpful, because I know there are areas where Seesaw didn't meet GDPR, so yeah, but I believe that one's okay, but we'll make absolutely certain that it is. Thank you for that.
Okay, so I will move on. So before I go on to the parent view, just to point out the panel at the side, I can filter that journal to see specific things. So I could filter that journal to show me, it's frozen, to show me just work from the reading folder that I've just created. Can you still hear me? Can somebody confirm? I don't know whether my internet's just slowed down a second.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so I'll crack on. There it is. I can filter to show me just work from Rosie. I can filter to show work from a specific date. I can do a range, or I could ask just to see anything, for instance, that I've posted this week. And I can see that there. So that's the teacher view of the journal. We're going to move on now to have a look at how that works for connecting parents. So the first thing when we're thinking about that is actually connecting the parents. And I'm going to do that back from my Launchpad. I'm going to start by clicking on the J2 dashboard, which is one of these sort of bluey grey tiles. It's at the bottom of my Launchpad. And I go to the Parent tab. Now, there are a couple of different ways to do this. I can manually add, click on Invite Parents next to the parent. I should say I'm going to first choose the class I'm looking at. So if I go to P1, that would be helpful. I can manually invite parents by typing in their email address, or I can generate QR codes that the parent can scan and connect that way. Now, to demonstrate how this works, I'm just going to take a second and try and connect my phone to show you. Just bear with me a second.
Are you struggling, Charlie? I've got a phone connected if it helps.
It's okay. Let's see.
It's sometimes tricky to get a phone displaying on the screen, which is probably what Charlie's struggling. Is that what you're struggling with, Charlie?
Wait, no, I think it should be coming up just now. So, can you see that now?
We're not seeing your phone, no.
Ah, can you not see this at the front, Danny? Oh, I wonder what I know. It's because I've shared just my window, isn't it? 2 seconds, that's why. I reshare again and share my whole screen. Can you see it now, Danny?
Yes, we've got your phone now.
Okay, right.
Sure.
So if I come back to this dashboard and I create my QR codes, this is a little bit right. Now it's there. We go. Apologies. This bit is a bit. Okay. Right, so I can now go to my camera. Now I do have the app downloaded already, but I'm just going to show you as though I didn't. And if I find, say, Rosie, and I scan that QR code now. Now, if I am not an existing, if I as a parent am not already connected, the first thing I will be asked to do is create a registration. So I will do that now. I'm going to pop it in a dummy. And I'll scan that again now to connect. And you can see I am now connected to Rosie. And as her parent, I can see her any homework that she has been assigned. I can have access to that journal. Oh, I need to verify it, so I'll come out and go back into another one. I can also upload files to share with parents. I can see any messages that have been sent, and I can see any stars. So that's the parent's view. I can, if I already have an account and I'm connecting with a second child, all I need to do is click Add Child. Click on that little QR code button at the top. If I now connect with Nicola, and I can see all my children in that first view there. Now, I think I'm going to have to sign back into another. Danny, have you got yours there? If mine's not working, a second, so that I can.
I do, Charlie. Yeah.
Try one more time. Oh no, there I am. Okay. So, I should be able to connect to the journal with this one. The email. So once I've verified my email, I can then see the journal, and this is the view the parent's going to have of the journal I've just shown you. So I can see that piece of work that we've just uploaded just now. I can see all the other pieces, but I'm not seeing anything that Rosie hasn't been involved in. I can click to view that there. So this one's a little animation, and when I click on it, I can see that working how Rosie designed it to be. And I can leave comments as a parent as well. The comments will need approving by the teacher, which I will show you in a minute. But if I just type one out now, great work, Rosie. Click the little tick button. And you can see it says pending. So I've left that comment, but a teacher needs to approve it. So before I disconnect my phone and go back and talk about that approval process, does anybody have any questions about the parent view?
I think it's probably just worth mentioning, Charlie, that in Scotland, it's important that the QR code to connect parents is only appropriate if the teacher physically gives the QR code to the parent. It's not acceptable to put those QR codes to give it to the pupils to pass on to the parents. Julia will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case.
That's the setup for Aberdeenshire. So we've got approval now from ECS Data Protection that we can allow the QR codes for parents to be scanned as long as you've got a staff member there overseeing that. So that should help with that initial setup if you've got a lot of parents to put through. I know that Carolina Lawrencekirk, who's on the call, she's planning on doing that at a parents' meeting. And then they're setting up a table and the parents are coming along to scan that. I don't know what the situation will be for Harriet and Perth and Kinross.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we have not got agreement from our data protection about QR codes being used at all at the moment. So it's just the case that they would need to be, you know, signing up using their email addresses. But again, we could speak to data protection about that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I will just get rid of this for now. So in which case then just a reminder, just to show you then if you're inviting manually, if I click on the class and go to P1 and find Rosie there, if I click on invite parent and enter the email address of the parent, then they will get that link emailed to them to sign up. So if I head back to the journal now, if I look on the left-hand side in this panel, there is a review tab. And in there, I can see that that comment that I've just made, and I need to either approve that or delete it. So I'll approve that one. Equally, if a child is able to submit a piece of work to the journal, but again, that has to be approved by the teacher first. So I can see that Harley here has tried to submit this paper aeroplane investigation to the journal. So I would need to approve that before it appears. So I'll do that now. And we can now head back to the journal. And I can see that that comment, now I've approved it, has appeared under that piece of work. And I think that's about everything that I've got to show you. Before we go to any questions, just a reminder that if you are interested in finding out more about Just2Easy as a whole, we have the session on the 5th at 4 o'clock, and you can find that in just2easy.com/events. Other than that, that's everything from me. So does anybody have any questions?
There were a few questions which I've answered on the chat, and I think a few of them were particularly important. It's probably worth me just sort of answering out loud so everyone knows. One question was, is there an app for the parents? Yes, there's an iOS app for Apple phones, Apple devices, and there's an Android app for Android devices. They then mean that parents optionally get push notifications, so instantly get a notification up on their phone when something new appears on the journal. So that's a really useful thing. I think on that subject, I'll maybe just share my screen and show how that works, because I think it's worth looking at that for a moment or two. Oh, it's that screen over there, right? Okay. So can you see my phone on that screen, Charlie?
Yes.
Great. Now my phone's stopped connecting as well. It's a real fiddle to get these phones to connect onto the screen so that you can share them. There we go. I think that's coming alive. Just bear with me a few seconds. Right, okay, so yeah, so there's my parent portal, and I just wanted to show you the settings on the parent portal. Oh, someone asked, can you message from the same app? Yes, you can. So just up here, next to Ben, there is the message app, and that allows you to access J2Message or see any messages that the teacher has sent. You also get to see stars. You can see Ben's had a star this week, any homework, and so on. But what I wanted to show you just now was the settings, which is this cog up here. And if you go to the cog, you've got various settings. Down at the bottom there, there's a little blue cog, or sorry, it's not that one, it's this one here, the notifications. And that allows you to turn on or off push notifications and emails, and you can do those independently. Personally, I find if you're getting the push notifications, the emails are a little bit superfluous. Yeah, everyone's got their personal choice, but parents may well want to turn off the emails and leave the push notifications on. But the settings anyway are there for them. Okay. Oh yes, and then one really important question. Someone asked if a comment is, if a parent has left a comment on a thread with multiple children, can all of the parents see it? Well, the answer is that they can, but only after the teacher has approved the comment. So until the teacher has approved the comment, they won't be able to see that the comment has been left. So that's all under the teacher's control. Okay, can children upload themselves? All right, there's a lot of questions on the chat. We'll just try and get through. Let's see. What's the cost? Is the staff training? The cost for the next academic year, you'll be pleased to know the cost is £0 for all Scottish schools. After that, we've made a three-way pledge about pricing. The plan, I'll just admit in front of everyone, is to try and get Glow to license the tools for all of Scotland. The tools are licensed for the whole of Wales and the whole of Northern Ireland, and we'd very much like to be licensed to Scotland as well. But if we fail in that plan, after the free year, we've made a three-way pledge, and that is that we will match any competitive deal. So that would be Seesaw or Class Dojo or anything else that sort of vaguely competes in this area. We'll match and try and beat actually the cost of any competitor. We pledge that no school will pay more than £495 per annum, regardless of the size of the school. And for those smaller schools, we've pledged that no school will pay more than £10 per pupil per annum. So that's a three-way pledge that we've made about costing after the free period. Okay, that's that question. I've used the QR code to scan login and but I can see another pupils doing. So the pupils. That's a question from Caroline. We'll come back to you on that one, Caroline. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll look at that in a bit of detail after this webinar and see what's going on. Can children upload themselves? They can upload any files into Just2Easy, and from there they can put them into the journal. As Charlie showed, those files don't appear to anyone else until the teacher has approved them. When are they uploading, sending messages, or does this have to be done on the internet? I don't quite understand that, but everything depends on the internet. Without the internet, it's not going to work. Is the short answer to that bit of the question. Okay. Is the staff training? Yes, there's loads of training, and we're very keen.
Just pop the link to the events page in the chat.
Thanks, Charlie.
What we've got currently planned, but there'll be lots more in the new term as well.
Great. Okay. 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 Are there any further questions? I think I've tried to get.
Can I just ask as well? Are you able to, like Seesaw, we used to make folders to connect it to the curriculum, you know, either literacy, numeracy, health and well-being, and then link the post into that folder? Are you still able to do that on Just2Easy?
I think so, if I've understood the question properly. I mean, Charlie showed how when you put an item onto the journal, you can create or add it into a folder. Would that meet that requirement?
Yes, I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it's certainly intended to meet that exact function within Seesaw. So
Yeah.
I'll also say, you know, at the risk of being quoted, we're absolutely committed to making sure that this works as well and hopefully better than Seesaw for everyone. So if there are any items where after you've been using it a while, you say, well, you know, we can do this in Seesaw, but we can't do it in J2Journal, please, for goodness sake, don't stay quiet. Let us know either through your local authority or directly. Let us know, and we're committed to making sure that it matches and beats Seesaw.
Did you want me to just briefly show that folder function again?
I think it wouldn't hurt, Charlie, since we had the question asked. Yes, please. It might be worth just showing as well, since you've already put something in a folder, show how that works if you sort of filter by folder there,
Okay,
where it says all.
if I add a new file from the pupils files, where am I? Like that. Tag Rosie again. So there are the two folders that I've already created. So I could put that in phonics or reading, but since this is art, let's do a new folder. Create that folder. I can pop it in the artwork folder, add that item, and then on the left hand side here, where it says all folders, I can filter to show just the work that's in that artwork folder.
Yeah, so we could make a literacy, a numeracy, and a health and wellbeing 3 separate folders, and then just link the post into that folder.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I can do it. I think if I come out of this and show all folders, I think I can from here. I can just move it. So if we take this piece of work here, edit folder. I've clicked on those 3 little dots. Click edit folders, and I can pop that into any of those 3 folders or create a new folder for it there.
And does that show up on the actual post? Like on Seesaw, the post, say it was a literacy post, because I put it in the literacy folder, it shows up above the comments.
So it's just here. Can you see?
Yeah.
Underneath that, crikey, I've clicked on that. Underneath, it's that little folder there.
Yeah,
so it's I've color coded it. So that purple one was reading, but I can click and I can see that it's the reading folder.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's great. Also, there was a question I forgot to answer on the chat, Charlie. Someone asked if they could make individual journals for individual children. Well, you can. Charlie, can you just show making a can you just make a new journal?
So if I go to
new journal, you will have to select a class.
Am I right? The way that you'd have to do that is to create a teaching class for that individual.
Oh, you could. Yes, you could. Yes, you could do that. That would be ideal, actually. Yeah, that would be ideal. Create a new teaching class.
If I do that, it's just going to select that class. So I'd have to go back a step here, and in the dashboard, I could create. Is that right, or is there? Is there a way to do it straight from journal?
No, in classes there, Charlie.
So when you set up your Just Too Easy, you'll have all your registration classes there, but I can further, and children will only appear in 1 registration class each, but I can create teaching classes for them and they can appear in as many of those as I want them to. So we've got digital leaders, literacy group down here. But if I created a new class, made it a teaching class, and I called that Rosie. Go back to my journal now. I might need to refresh it to make that work. I can now select that new class. My thing's in the way, isn't it? Try again. There's Rosie at the bottom, and create that. Now what I forgot to do is add Rosie in the dashboard to that class, I think. So there's back in the dashboard, if I add Rosie to that class. Let's try again. And now this journal should have, there we go, just Rosie and myself to choose files from. It works in just the same way, but I've only got Rosie to choose from.
There's another question has been asked about uploading Word doc, PDF files, PowerPoints, etc. All of that is possible. If you, Charlie, could you perhaps go to J2Launch and just show the My Files? So within the My Files there, you can drop any files here. So that can be any file type at all. It can be videos, sound files, Word documents, PowerPoints, you name it, anything you like. And then once they're there, you can just add those into the journal.
Danny, I think
the video I've just made, I can just drop it in there.
I had started answering that question, so that's kind of just the second half to that question. It was them asking if you can upload files from a laptop or computer, or does it have to be files from J2Easy?
Right, okay. Certainly on your iPad now, you can get any of the files that are on the iPad or iPhone. But in the journal, we just need to add a link there that lets you upload directly from the journal. At the moment, you would have to go via the route that Charlie's just done, which is to add the files into My Files. So I've just taken this video,
which was not created in J2Easy. This video is a video I've created on my laptop, and I simply dragged it into there. Now it's a video, so it'll take a couple of seconds. If that was a file, it would just be straight in there. And although that's not a J2Easy file, but I would now be able to add that. Where's she gone? If I click on my Files, there's that video, and I could now add that to the journal. So that's not a J2Easy file, but it is there.
Another question that was asked a little bit earlier was, can you record children's voices on their posts, you know, in the comments section or anything? Can you do that at all?
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like
Amazing.
It. So when I click to comment, I can type my comment, but if you look next to the little tick here, I have the option to voice record also.
And pupils and parents can all do the same. So
Fab, thank you.
There's another question here saying, can you disable parent comments? So I know you can moderate them, but could you just turn them off altogether if as a school you didn't want to have that switched on?
I don't think we've put that option in the journal yet, but that sounds like a sensible thing for us to add in. Yeah, so I think the answer is not yet. But that sounds sensible. Again, I'd just be interested. We'll put it in anyway, but I'm just interested if that's available in Seesaw, if anyone knows.
I can't remember. It's been ages since I've
Not
used
to worry.
Seesaw, sorry.
Yeah, not to worry. Yeah, anyway, we'll put it in because it's obviously a sensible thing for us to put in. So we'll put an option in so you can turn off parent comments on the journal if you don't want them.
Yeah, you could turn them off in Seesaw.
I'm just seeing in the comments. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll get that added in. Mustn't forget that.
Perfect. I think, have we covered all of the questions there? A lot of questions.
Will there be the option to upload files directly in the future?
Yes, absolutely there will. Yes, absolutely. You can already do it if you're working on an iPad or an iPhone. It's just it'll sit in it'll sit on the journal where you add like My Files, pupil files, video. It'll just say files, and then you'll be able to access any of the files from your computer. Since I've got everyone here, just a very quick plug. If any of you've got colleagues in any other authorities, or if any of you tweet and you like what we're doing, it's always appreciated. We're trying to get the word around Scotland, and I guess the more we do, the better chance we've got of getting this on to Glow in a year's time. So it's kind of in everyone's interest. So it's a quick plug. Hope you don't mind at the end.
No, that's fine, Danny. Thank you very much, Danny and Charlie, for your time this afternoon and going over that with us. I think everyone's really keen and excited to start using J2Journal. And yeah, Danny and and Charlie, they're really open to any ideas and suggestions that you have. It's a new product, very, very new product. So yeah, try it out and give us your feedback. And thank you for coming along.
Just a couple more things that have popped up in the chat. We've already tried to register parent carers, but some could not access. Is there any reason for this? And
I've just asked them to email support, Charlie, so we can get to the bottom of that.
The same would be true for taking a minute to upload a photo in Journal. That doesn't seem like what it's taking me, so that seems like that.
I've noticed some slowness sometimes with photos. I think particularly on iOS devices, and that is on our list to try and improve that speed of upload. Yeah. I will just say the person that I've just asked to email support, our support is very, very proactive. It won't just go in a pot and not get looked at. So that's not a fob off. But if you email us support, that gives us the best way of sort of talking to you properly and getting the details and sorting it out.
Great. I'll stop the recording now.